Apply the hammer, the times they are changing, and turn. So no testaments. So these are some old favorites that I'm hoping some of you will know. The lyrics are going to be up on the screen. So sing loud and clear. So Tom, sorry I didn't get a chance to say hi to you, but no war, I know.
Ain't gonna study
war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more.
Ain't gonna study
war no more. How about if I had a hammer? If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out a warning, I'd hammer out the love between all of the resistors all over this land. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd bring out danger, I'd bring out a warning, I'd bring out the love between between all of the resistors all over this land. Ooh, if I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out a warning, I'd sing out the love between all of the resistors all over this land. Ooh, well, I got a hammer and I got a bell, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's a hammer of justice, it's a bell of freedom, it's a song about the love between all of the resistors all over this land. It's a song of justice, it's a bell of freedom, it's a song about the love between all of the resistors all over this land. An old favorite, and it still feels relevant. And boy, this next one, it's a Bob Dylan song that really does seem relevant. The times they are a-changin'. Oops, gotta get my capo. Come gather round people. Whoops. Come gather round people wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changin'. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changin'. Here we go. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block out the hall, for he who gets hurt will be he who has stalled. There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changin'. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly raging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend a hand, for the times they are a-changin'. Last verse, the line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, and the present for the time they are a change. So, yeah, maybe they're not changing. So this last one, I think people may know the Byrds version or Pete Seeger. And you'll see some of you have higher voices than me. I think it was Janet. Somebody commented, oh God, both Corliss and you have such low voices. So this one, we've pitched a little bit higher, but Corliss and I are going to do an octave lower when we do the verses. But you do whatever is comfortable for you. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time for peace, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. Well, that's our community sing-along. So Jeff is the director of our children and family education, and so he's the one who invented this community sing, but he's sick today. So I want to thank Corliss Smith, my worship associate today, for standing in. I'll just do my welcome from down here. So I want to welcome all of you to the First Unitarian Church of Oakland. My name is Laurel Liefert, and I serve as the minister of this congregation, which is caring, compassionate, a bit rowdy, hungry for justice, and what we are is a community of seekers. So we like to think that we're as a come-as-you-are congregation. So whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your faith journey, you are welcome here. Now today is the day after a very disturbing day yesterday, so at this time I want to just acknowledge that the United States and Israel did bomb Iran. I checked with the parents whether it was okay to say this while the children are here. So I think this is a particularly poignant Sunday for us all to be gathered here safe under this beautiful redwood and together in a community that is loving. and again, justice seeking. So that last song that we sang feels like life. It's from Ecclesiastics, to everything there is a season, and unfortunately, right now is a time of war, and we hope that it's not too late for peace. Never too late. And the Unitarian Universalist Association has taken a stand for many, 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 many years, including all of the congregations, have voted to have diplomatic relations and to have no type of violence unless there is authorization by Congress. Anyway, so we just do what we can here in Oakland. And speaking of Oakland, we are here on the land of the Lishan Ohlone peoples. This was settled many, many years ago, and there is a local organization that is a women-run organization called the Segurite Land Trust. Some of us give a Shumi land tax because one of their goals is to rematriate the land, is to buy back some of the land that was taken from them. And so for us, even though we are not the ones who colonized the land, we definitely do still benefit from this broken covenant because our homes, this church, the institutions are on land that was for millennia occupied by the Ohlone people who are still here. So up on the screen, you can see a way to make some contributions or to volunteer or to be in touch with the Segurite Land Trust. So again, thank you all for being here. And for our call to worship this morning, our theme is paying attention. And so let us just dive right in. Come and awaken your senses to this moment. We are so lucky we have bodies that have all those senses, so awaken them. Come awaken your senses this moment where we practice the revolutionary act of noticing the breath that sustains us, the beauty hiding in ordinary hours, noticing the small things that keep hope alive, like little Grant sitting, chatting on his mom's lap. Come, let us train our attention on that which leads us home. And so in one voice, let us say together, come, let us worship together. Thank you.
Will you join me in saying our chalice lighting words, and you can do the gestures if you know them. We light this chalice, symbol of Unitarian Universalism. May it remind us of the divine spark in all of creation,
the power of love
to heal what is broken, and to be grateful for life's blessings each day.
For the peace candle, we'll continue the tradition that, again, Jeff Melcher, our Director of Children and Family Life, have started, which is, for the peace candle, we'll sing Peace, Salam, Shalom, which was written by, I think, Pat Humphreys, a member of Emma's Revolution. So the words are up on the screen, and we add some snapping. So it goes, Peace, Salam, Shalom. Peace, Salam, Shalom. Peace, Salam, Shalom. Peace, Salam, Shalom. You want it higher? How about Peace, Salam, Shalom. Peace, Salam, Shalom. Peace, Salam, Shalom. Peace, Salam, Shalom. Peace, Salam, Shalom.
Peace, Salam, Shalom. Peace, Salam, Shalom.
Peace, Salam, Shalom.
And will we say together, peace is possible. I wish everybody felt that way. For our Black Lives Candle, I have a quotation here from Claudia Rankine from her amazing book, Us. Universalized whiteness that racial imagery lives in every moment. We have to be willing to think about this despite spending most of our days not thinking at all. And together we say, Black Lives Matter.
So Marvy, you want to come up and how would you like to do this? Want the kids to sit on the steps, or you could use, do you want to use a handheld mic? I could hold it for you. Maybe you go over to them and I can hold it for you.
Cool. Okay.
There's some good pictures to this.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. We're going to read A Ramadan Night by Nadine Presley, illustrated by Asma Inaya. If you pay attention to the story, you might see that our main character is also practicing noticing not only what's happening around him, but also what's happening inside him. So, little ones, if you want to look at the pictures, you can. A Ramadan Night. The call for prayer hugs tight the sky of Damascus as a smile of a moon greets the special month ahead. Baba breathes in. It feels like a Ramadan night. I breathe in deep like Baba, but I'm not so sure. What does a Ramadan night feel like? I ask. Baba gives me a cheerful, twinkle-eyed, tilted head, bigger than the world smile. I can't answer that, my Sami, but he says. But it's time to go pray Taraweeh, where you might find your answer. Together we set out. The moon follows. So I ask the crescent moon, what does a Ramadan night feel like? The crescent moon gleams. Ramadan nights are lights. Lights, I say? Golden lanterns glimmer. Faithful hearts flutter. Bright stars blink. I cast my warmth against the beaming eyes twinkling in the night. My eyes smile back. I clutch Baba's warm hand as the sidewalk makes music with our footsteps. So I ask the sidewalk, what does a Ramadan night feel like? The sidewalk taps back. Ramadan nights are eager steps. Steps, I say? Eager steps fluttering to fill spaces in masjids, streets alive, celebrating beloved friend, carrying hope for days of mindful fasting and nights of calm prayer. My heart skips a beat. A lullaby of laughter leads us through open doors. So I ask the echoes of the masjid, what does a Ramadan night feel like? The echoes reflect. Ramadan nights are ripples of peace. Peace, I say? We carry waves of welcome and warmth. When the imam's words ring, shoulders touch. Verses of the Quran fill the masjids. Conversations with Allah embrace longing hearts. My ears listen closely. We stand in rows, our feet cradled in velvety softness. So I ask the plush carpet, what does a Ramadan night feel like? The carpet whispers, Ramadan nights are mosaic engraved dreams. Dreams, I say. When knees sink slowly, wishes are whispered in sujud between walls engraved with Arabic calligraphy under dome-shaped mosaic ceilings. My fingers tingle, and one by one, more answers come rushing to meet me. The scent swirls. It's a sweet breeze infused with musk, amber, and the breath of souls standing together as one. My nose tickles. The charity box chimes. It's the clinkety-clink of overflowing generosity. My pocket jingles. The Ramadan food truck rings. Its proud grins, grumbling tummies of a community coming together, waiting to end the night with bites of kunafa, ice cream, delights. My mouth laughs. My Sami, have you found your answer? Baba asks. I breathe in deep once more. It feels like a Ramadan night. The end.
That's so good. Good job. Thank you. Well, let's sing the kids out now. Whoops, here. Go, go, yeah, make an arch, and they'll walk through it. Go, the beard of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. I think this will be a morning when you get cut loose to leave your seat if you want, and you can wander and greet people, but be especially attentive if you see people who are new to help them feel welcome. So this is a time for greeting one another, and when you hear Vince, which this is the first time I've seen him back, so I'm very happy to have Vince back at the piano. So when he starts playing our next hymn, and I'll ring the bell, that will be a signal, if you've left your seat, to please go back to it. Okay, go ahead and wander. Kind of a wild Sunday. Thank you. Quick study.
Just to actually read
I know the
lyrics,
words.
right? I mean,
Come senators,
so,
congressmen, let me.
so profound.
Oh, here it is. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Thank you.
I'm going to share an example of how attentiveness can lead to gratitude. For years, I've been in a struggle. Not a struggle with a person, but with a plant. Oxalis. You might not know its name, but there are few people who wouldn't recognize it. It's around us everywhere right now. Brilliant yellow flowers and leaves that look like four-leaf clovers. Sour grass. Yeah. It's quite pretty and can paint entire fields a bright yellow. My husband thinks it's a lovely flower and doesn't understand why I try to get rid of it. I will add that he never does any work in the garden, which is an important qualifier in relation to oxalis. To me, it's a weed, and I don't want it in my garden. The reason I endlessly work to get rid of it is that it's an extremely imperialistic plant. If no effort is made to stop it, oxalis will spread everywhere. It will take over a garden, obscuring everything else and eating the nutrients that a gardener wants to save for the plants she actually wants. The reason for this is oxalis's profoundly amazing reproductive capacities. Marilyn, could we have the slide? So, oxalis propagates itself through several methods. Most obviously, its flowers spew out seeds that broadcast on every breeze or just drop down near the flower. Once dropped, the seeds can burrow into the ground as much as a foot down. And even if you develop a deft hand so that you can extract lengthy roots, you'll break the seed off.
Yep.
And it will grow again. Every once in a while, it's possible to extract the seed by very carefully pulling out the plant, but this is rare, and you can't just put what you weed in the compost because the seed will hang out until you spread the compost, and it's replanted and grows again. And the plant even takes care of the seed by creating a little water-filled tube near it that acts as a reservoir to water the plant. And that's what you see on the slide. So if one really wanted to get rid of oxalis, it would require extensive excavation. And you'd have to pick out each seed. I have actually done many excavations and actually felt a sense of achievement picking out the little brown oval seeds that can congregate in groups or occur solo. And I think you can see In the picture, there's little white things around the crest of the little tube that holds the water. Those are all seeds. So every plant produces, I don't know, like 20 seeds at least. Yeah. However, over many years, I've observed oxalis in many situations and come to admire it and find its presence useful. That's because oxalis most often wants to grow in places where the ground is bare or semi-bare, and those places are often next to clumps of other growing plants, usually grasses. The life cycle of these grasses includes a phase where they're surrounded with old, dry, brown foliage. If that foliage is plucked out, the plant has more room to expand into new growth. So oxalis acts as a signpost for where I can usefully pull out the dead foliage and bring on juicy new growth. Of course, I had to notice this connection before I could act on it. In fact, my relationship with oxalis has been one of pretty constant attentiveness to its nature and life cycle. Now, it's true that some people see this relationship as obsessive. Oh God, they think, rolling their eyes. She's on about oxalis again. After all, they say, as the season wears on, oxalis disappears. Maybe from too much light or too much heat, I'm not sure which. But it's useless. Trying to eradicate it would, I know, be useless, kind of like Star Trek's Borg, towards whom resistance is futile. In fact, I may be obsessed with oxalis. I even wrote a skit about it for my 75th birthday party. But it's not because I hate oxalis, but because I want to check its tendency to expand and cover every ground it's allowed to grow in. I'm resisting the oxalis dictatorship. And because I've paid attention to it, it's helped me further the growth of plants I do want in my garden, and I'm grateful for that. At this point, my husband would likely say, "Who are you to decide what a weed is? Why not let plants do whatever they naturally want to do?" I could refute this by citing the entire history of agriculture and its relation to human well-being. But that would be futile too. I know this from being attentive to my husband and not going through identical rounds of argument about it. And I'm grateful for that too, and for him especially. Thank you.
Okay.
On a more serious note, each week we devote time to the sorrows and joys we experience as individuals, bringing them to the whole church for support, commiseration, and celebration. When I sound the bell, let your voices ring out the names of those you want to uplift to the care of the community. And to those on Zoom, if you put names in the chat, I will read them.
My 60-year friend, John Donald, passed away 2 days ago.
Prayers for Wilson Riles, Pat St. Ange, for Angelo.
And in our Joys and Sorrows book, people have entered, thinking of the families of the girls bombed in Iran. Unfettered military action in Iran, scary, must stop. Healing for Pastor Jacqueline. Gratitude for Ron Weisberg and the monthly poetry group. Fantastic talent, especially Michael.
Michael.
Thank you. So, for all the names that have been mentioned and all those that we have kept in the silent sanctuary of our hearts, we say, we hold them in our care.
Well, for our prayer, I think that most of us, because of what has happened with the United States and Israel bombing Iran, and you probably heard that there were over 100 young girls and teachers that were killed by a bomb that struck the elementary school. And the whole situation is just really frightening. And so I would like us to have a moment of silence to send out our thoughts and prayers. At least for now, that's what we can do. We are all part of the interconnected web, so we are connected with them, and we can do faithful witness to their suffering. And I just wish there was a miracle that the hearts of the powerful men who are wreaking this violence and destroying so many lives would be transformed to feel a connection and an empathic relationship with all of humanity and all living things. So let's share a moment of silence. So may we turn our grief and our rage, transform it into whatever actions we can actually do. And what we are doing is living our values of the worth and dignity of every person, of the interdependence of all of us. We are living those values out loud. And so, amen and blessed be. And go ahead and remain seated as we sing, Comfort Me. in her book, The Color Purple. Remember what Alice Walker wrote? I think it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple in a field somewhere and don't notice it. So our March Soul Matters worship theme is paying attention, and this quote reminds us that attention and gratitude go hand in hand, because attention can wake us up to the abundance of life's gifts. But I imagine that our attention these days, even before the US and Israel bombed Iran, has been leading us to some dark thoughts. What's happening in our country? What's happening in the world? What kind of world will our children and grandchildren live in? You know, I remember coming here actually on the Sunday after 9/11. I don't know if any of you were here, but the place was absolutely packed. I think there was standing room only. And I think that people do want to come and be with other people, be in community when there are hard times, because it helps us know that we're not alone. We come for comfort. We come for inspiration. We come to be reminded of what really matters in our lives. I'm always on the lookout for things that help me remember what matters, that help me live a life of integrity as I experience the inevitable ups and downs, the twists and turns, the joys and sorrows of life. And I have found tremendous value in both good times and bad in a simple mantra by Forest Church. And some of you may have heard me quote this before. Love what you have. Do what you can. Be who you are. Love what you have. Do what you can. Be who you are. I think that's the simplicity on the other side of complexity. So how many of you actually know who Forest Church is? So I think his father was a senator, right? And Forest Church was a prolific writer. He was a Unitarian Universalist minister at the All Souls Unitarian Church in New York City for 30 years. So that last phrase, the be who you are, I actually find that easier now that I'm getting a little bit older. Well, I'm getting a lot older, actually. But, there's really no choice but to be who you are. I actually love the quote from Oscar Wilde. You know, Oscar Wilde was this prolific, flamboyant wit in the Victorian age. And what he said is, be yourself, because everyone else is taken. It's true. And then that middle phrase, do what you can. You know, we've actually been pondering, talking, thinking so much about this. You know, we've got some frightening things going on in our world, and this is an activist group. Not all of you are necessarily out on the streets, but what we have been doing is we have been bannering, we've been protesting, we've been writing letters, we've been going to meetings, we've been praying, we've been writing postcards. You know, one of the things about doing what you can, and this again I think is for me getting a little bit older, is that you can't really do everything. So part of our process of discernment is, what is it realistically that I can do in a day that matters? And also knowing what your limitations are, knowing that if you're taking a rest or if you're not doing something, there's someone else who is called to do the tasks that we need to do in order to restore or to keep our democracy alive. So focus on your role, what's possible for you realistically to do. So just do what you can. And don't guilt trip yourself for what you aren't doing or can't do. That's an important part, no judgment. Well, that first phrase about wanting what you have, that is about gratitude. And it's not that kind of sunny, sweet, superficial gratitude. The kind of gratitude that I'm talking about, that Forest Church is talking about, is muscular. It's authentic. It's gratitude that has deep, deep roots, so that we can choose still to be grateful and still to praise even when the times are hard. When we're faced with life's unfairness, when we personally are suffering, or when we witness and empathize with the suffering of other people, when we're afraid. It's when even in the hard times we have what is actually discipline and courage to still be able to praise and to practice being grateful for what we have, to love what we have. So that kind of gratitude is worth more than gold. So maybe the question is, how can we learn to practice this muscular, deeply rooted gratitude? So Forest Church has some ideas here as well. He uses a metaphor in his book that is called Love and Death that I have found to be helpful. And it's about what we do with our attention. So imagine that we look at the world, all of us, each of us, look at the world through a lightly stained glass window, or actually a lot of them. And each window pane looks out at some aspect of our life. So it might look at our job, or where we live if we're lucky to have a home, or our spouse or partner if we have one. A pane looks at our children, at our hobbies. So just imagine the different panes that surround you that represent windows, glimpses into the different dimensions of your life. So at any time, some of these window panes could be rosy and translucent. So we can see through these panes clearly, and that rosy tint casts a gentle glow on our world as we look out. Do you ever have those moments when life just seems to be going well and your heart just kind of glows? You know, I enjoy my job. I do. I love this job. Maybe you are falling in love. Maybe you're finally pregnant. Your children are doing well, or you have a new puppy. You have enough money to pay your bills. So those are all clear, rosy, warm-feeling window panes to look out at. But imagine, as it does happen, that one pane in the window suddenly grows cloudy and then dark. So maybe we lose our job. Maybe we get diagnosed with something serious, or someone we love becomes seriously ill. Or maybe our child gets in trouble. Or we have a miscarriage. Or ICE is out on the streets, busting down doors, destroying families. Or our country bombs Iran. So, I think it's a human tendency to actually see that dark window and to just press our nose against it so that it's almost all that we see. But when we do that, we lose our perspective. We lose our sense of proportion. And even though it's not true, it feels like our entire world turns dark. Church writes how easily this tendency can kick in when we're dying. Because the subtitle of his book, of Love and Death, is My Journey Through the Valley of the Shadow. Because Forest Church wrote this book knowing that he only had months to live. So it's from his very real personal experience during a time of hardship that he warns us, if our nose is pressed up against only the dark frame, we can see nothing else, all our other lights go out. And if we invest the meaning of our whole lives in what may be impossible, or what may be out of our control, or what may take a long time, like healing from our illness, finding another job, paying off our debts, getting pregnant again. Here is the warning that he gives us. What concerns me, he writes, is this. Even as we do everything in our power to polish up that cloudy frame, we may obsess so on our illness that we lose appreciation for all those things in our life that we would dearly pray be returned to us if someone suddenly snatched them away. The goal, Forrest writes, is to live in such a way that our lives will prove worth dying for. That's what I'm trying to do. And even though nothing really belongs to us, because we will all die someday, he writes that the one thing that can't be taken from us, even by death, is the love we give away before we die. You know, it's like in that Beatles song, the love you take is equal to the love you make. So in 2009, Forrest Church died of esophageal cancer. He was 61, which seems so young to me now. But the love he gave away before he died and the wisdom that he left us still remains. The love is still here. So, you know, this makes me think of a movie that I saw in the Roxy Theater in San Francisco last December. Are any of you familiar with, or have you seen that Come See Me in the Good Light? So Andrea Gibson is an amazing, or was an amazing poet, the poet laureate of Colorado, who died last July. But there was a documentary that was made about her life. It's actually available on Apple TV. And what really strikes me about it is the joy. It's actually the story about how Andrea Gibson and their partner, Renee, let's see, what's her name? Megan Fowley, how they navigate this terminal diagnosis. And you know, the documentary is actually a love story. And so instead of fixing on that one dark pain of Andrea's terminal cancer, they laugh, they dance, they create and read poetry. So it's a story about resilience and about transforming pain into purpose and into meaning. And they are so good at looking at those other pains that surround them in their life. So the Soul Matters materials that we receive, we meaning the worship associates and actually covenant groups and others have access to them. We have a monthly theme, and as I mentioned, the monthly theme for March is paying attention. And one of the things that they include in the materials is a list of questions. The questions that pertain to the theme that are just designed to kind of till the soil and get you thinking about how this particular theme is relevant or how you've experienced it in your life. And so I got this idea, which I have no idea if it's going to be a hit or a flop, but what I did is I made a copy of the questions, and it was Matt who helped put them on the tables in Venti Hall, which is where we have coffee hour. And my fantasy is that some of you who are sitting at the table will actually be curious enough to pick up the questions, and what we like to say is, as we go through them, which one shimmers? So which of these questions might grab you, might shimmer for you? And then if you would, perhaps strike up a conversation about it, maybe with someone who you already know, so you can deepen your relationship, or maybe find a newcomer or someone who you don't know yet. And this would be part of, like, we had a listening campaign last spring. So it's a way that we can start making and strengthening the connections among you as the beloved community. So I'm going to give you just a sampling of a couple of the questions, hoping this might prime the pump. As a child, which of your senses was your favorite way of paying attention to the world? Here's another one. When growing up, what one or two things above all others did your family communicate were worthy of attention? Beauty, duty, kindness, humility, honesty, reputation, education, loyalty, success, God. So, I mean, you can see how these are interesting questions, and in fact, there may be enough pieces of paper that if you don't want to do it here, you could take it home and do it journaling or write a poem about it. So, in closing, I want to remind you of that mantra. Maybe say it with me. Love what you have. Love what you have. Do what you can. Do what you can. And be who you are, because everybody else is taken. All right, thank you.
Most people want to leave something lasting behind them when they die. Most people do this through their children. Artists do it through their work. And if they're sculptors or architects, their work might last for hundreds of years, or even thousands. When I contribute to our church, I think of being a link in a long chain of people who made and maintained this beautiful building and the ideas of Unitarian Universalism that fill it. I feel I'm sending something really good into the future. Mm-hmm. One of the human structures of the church is our half-plate recipient for this month, DRUM. DRUM stands for Diverse and Revolutionary Unitarian Universalist Multicultural Ministries, whose vision is to uplift and amplify Black, Indigenous, and people of color, to dismantle white supremacy culture by centering the stories, lived experiences, and spiritual expression of BIPOC UUs. When the basket comes by you, please support our church both physically and spiritually. If this is your first time here, let the basket go by. Your presence is your gift to us. So would the ushers please come forward?
Bravo, thank you, Vince. You give us amazing grace. So let's repeat the words to bless our offering. To the work of the church, which is weaving a tapestry of love we call community, we dedicate ourselves and these our offerings.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Michael Schaefer, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of this church. Announcements for this week. Number 1, join us in Venti Hall for service, for coffee hour, and connection.
And questions.
2, this is our weekly reminder that our Committee of Shared Ministry is asking for all of us to participate in the annual church survey. The link is in the Chalice Chatter, and if you prefer to give responses verbally, stop by one of their listening sessions. 3, the worship team is starting to plan for our volunteer-led summer services. If you're interested in volunteering, please talk to Reverend Laurel soon. Number 4, the Spirit Group is holding its monthly meeting today at 1 p.m. in the 3rd floor Crompton Library. And number 5, visitors and newer members, don't miss the grand tour of the whole church, highlighting its architectural and historical features, led by Emily Stoper and Steffi Panet, today at 12 noon. Meet them here in Hamilton Hall. And I'm going to add one more. If you're interested in being on the board of directors, you could talk to me or one of the other board members. Thank you.
Good pitch. Thank you. Thanks, Michael, for your service and for your announcements. And let's go ahead and rise in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn, For All That Is Our Life. We're just going to extinguish our chalice with the words,
We extinguish this chalice, but not the love and sustenance we found here today, and which we'll find more of in Venti Hall afterwards.
So go ahead and face the aisle, look into the eyes of your beloved community. I just love the imagining you having these threads of connection, of love between you. So I wonder if you know what my benediction is going to be today. I think if you'll repeat after me. Love what you have. Do what you can. And be who you are. Because you are beautiful. So let's now, I guess we'll have a recessional by Vince. Again, so happy you're back from your surgery in your hospital. And again, I just hope some of you will do those questions. Okay. Vince, thank you. Blessed be.